Greetings, Benjamin J. the Victrola Guy with another in the series. Well, the 2-inch copper tape has arrived. This is just a sample. I bought a couple of small samples of this stuff. This is actually made for electric guitars to shield the pickups inside the wooden body. So, the problem with this, of course, I discovered, is the fact that it is really difficult to try to get this on there straight, plus it has a bunch of wrinkles where it was folded over when they sent it. Now these are just samples. If I buy it on a roll, it's a different story. But a roll of copper tape is $157. This right here represents probably $3. So it's not cheap to do it. But it is just an experiment. It's a test, so I just want to see, A, what kind of recording it will make, B, can I put it on there? It's going to be really difficult to line this up on this mandrel. And it has a really, really aggressive adhesive on it. So you have to get it on there straight the first time, because once you lift it, you just add wrinkles to it. Now, this is thicker than the copper foil I was using earlier. So it's going to be an interesting experiment. So what I'm going to try to do is get this backing off of it without adding any wrinkles to it. And then see if I can lay this on there reasonably straight. And it is going to be really difficult to do this, I think. Alright, it's stuck to the mandrel there. And these wrinkles are not going to help at all. You're going to hear every one of these wrinkles as it goes by the mandrel. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time trying to line this up perfectly. I just want to make a recording and see if it's even worthwhile to pursue this. As I said, this is much thicker than the tape I was using, that snail tape. And it's got some wrinkles in it, so it's going to be a bit noisier than the tape I was using earlier. But again, it's just an experiment. So, with these wrinkles where they mailed the foil are not going to help at all. Because any wrinkle just adds to the noise, because you hear every wrinkle as the stylus runs over it. So, and it's so shiny, it's really hard to even see it. This stuff is just glinting right in my eyes. So, the foil is going on slowly but surely. Obviously you can see this is not something you do quickly. And it's got lots and lots of wrinkles actually in the foil itself. So like I said, once you stick this on there, it's stuck. You're not going to get it back off without really, really wrinkling the tape. So, coming up on the end here, and we're lined up fairly well. Now, I have no idea how this is going to work. It's thicker than the tape that I did the initial experiment with, that snail tape. And as I said, it's got big creases in it where they rolled it up when they mailed it. But this is just an experiment, so what I'm going to do is set the stylus a bit deeper, of course. Since this is not aluminum, it's going to take, this is much heavier, so it's going to take a bit more to indent it. It's on there good and snug, there's no doubt about that. And if I could get this to work, it'd be great, but I really have my doubts with all these wrinkles in it. I think a piece of foil without adhesive on it would be much easier to use, and would also be much smoother. So, I'm going to set the depth of cut about a quarter turn deeper. We'll do an initial recording. Okay, I'm in the very first groove, and it looks fairly deep, so I have no idea what this is going to sound like. So this is going to be genuine empirical experiment. Will it work? I have no idea. So, the first test of 2-inch copper foil on the 1878 demonstration phonograph. Here goes. Hello, hello, hello! Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. Ha, ha, ha! All right. So, it indented it nicely. And as I said, when you turn this crank, when you're recording on copper, it's just so smooth. It's nothing like recording on aluminum at all. So I don't know what kind of recording it's going to make. I don't know how much noise is going to be in it. This is the very first experiment on 2-inch copper. And as I said, this is much thicker than the snail tape I was using. So there's only one way to find out, and that's to do a recording. So here we go. The first test on 2-inch wide copper foil on the 1878 demonstration tinfoil phonograph. Alright, well, it recorded, but the results are disappointing, to say the least. So, as I said, this is thicker than that copper foil tape that I used originally. It made a fair recording, but it isn't very loud, as you heard for yourself. Completely different than aluminum foil. But, again, the only way to tell on any of this is to do it. There's no documentation on recording on anything on this phonograph, or on any tinfoil phonograph. You can find information about the machines, but there's no information at all on how you adjust them, what records well, what you do, nothing at all. So the only way to tell how something is going to work is to do it and find out. Let's play it one more time. First recording on copper tape, on 2-inch wide copper tape. Well, disappointing, I have to admit. Really disappointing. It's not nearly as loud or clear as recording on aluminum foil, and not anything like recording on that snail tape that I had, that 1-inch wide stuff. It was much thinner than this, which is probably why. So, just a quick experiment recording on 2-inch wide copper foil, but as I said, the results were disappointing, to say the least. I thought it was going to do much better than this. But there's only one way to tell, and that's to do it and do an experiment. So, I'll look around for, I've got to measure this to see how thick it is, and then see if I can find the same thickness as the snail tape. And then, of course, there's steel foil, brass foil, bronze foil, lead foil. There's alloy foils of almost any kind of metal you could think of, they make foil out of. It's expensive. I mean, that's the drawback to it. Aluminum foil is plentiful, and it's really, really cheap. Whereas this piece of copper right here represents $3, something like that. And the results were disappointing. So I probably won't be pursuing the copper tape. Still going to be pursuing copper foil, but I'll probably buy it in a sheet and then cut the strips myself without the adhesive on the back. And also, I can then hopefully find different thicknesses. But, you know, you're pretty much at the mercy of whoever's making this. Whatever thickness they make, that's it. There's not a whole lot of selection as far as thicknesses and, you know, basic specific parameters. You just have to find what's available and test it. You know, if I had an unlimited supply of this, I might be able to adjust the machine to use it well. But the initial experiment, not very promising, I have to say. Not very promising at all. But again, the only way to tell is to do an experiment and see how it works. So, this was the first test of 2-inch wide copper foil on the 1878 tinfoil phonograph with really disappointing results. Pity. But again, the only way to find out is to do an experiment and see how it works. So, just wanted to document it. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email. TheVictrolaGuy@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.